Okay, guys. Oh my gosh, it's already Friday. A little rainy outside, a little overcast. Probably how most of us are feeling right now, but just keep being active. My biggest, because of when I'm experiencing I would highly recommend that you write down a schedule of things that you want to get done every day. Don't have to be work. I'm not saying work. I'm not saying clean out your garage. I'm just saying best way to keep things as normal as possible is to keep a schedule, because the day can get away from you. Okay, so finally got a special request. Shout out to Jamie, Group Fitness Jamie. Go check out her bar fusions and her fit classes, and just about anything she teaches is great. But shout out to Jamie for requesting about the shoulder, loosening up the shoulder and the pec. Biggest thing with that is the posture, is because a lot of us are sitting at desks doing computer work, or we're sitting in our car driving. We're hunched forward, and over time that chest and that shoulder gets short and they pull in, and then our back gets longer, and it just allows it to happen. So today's going to be some loosening this up, and then also doing some activation on the back to try to help pull. As we loosen it up, we want to help the body pull it back. And in fact, you'll see it's really easy. Just about everybody's got it. There's very few of us that don't have some sort of pull. But I'm actively thinking about my posture at the moment. Okay, if I completely relax, okay, there's just a slight little forward. Okay, and that's what we're dealing with. Some it's more pronounced. Okay. Another thing about the shoulder, and I wrestled, this one took me longer to figure out what the script was going to be, because I wasn't sure how much to put in today, because there's a lot going on with the shoulder and things like that. But I always like to mention that when it comes to your shoulder use, that to avoid injury, okay, today we're talking about loosening it up, not correcting an injury. But if we've got to avoid injuries, I always like to make a big deal about, we want to make sure that our shoulder blades stay tucked as we're reaching up over the head, whether it's to go get something off the shelf or it's to lift a weight, okay? And when I go over my head, there's a difference between how high I can reach with my shoulder blades tucked and how high I can reach if I let my shoulder blades go, okay? And this is typically where everybody hurts themselves, right here. When I go and grab something and then put weight, and my shoulder blade is not there as a foundation for my shoulder, and my shoulder does more work than it's supposed to, what tends to happen also is, instead of the weight being in front of you, it tends to go behind you. That's going to tear up your shoulder more often than not. And then, of course, we're in classes. We're doing our own exercises, and we go up over the head, and we think, oh, I need to get way up there to the ceiling. No. And again, hands go behind the head typically. So we want to always keep those shoulder blades tucked down in our back pocket. We press up overhead, slightly in front of the forehead with the weight, okay? If you can't reach it on the shelf with those shoulder blades tucked, you need to get a chair and step up there. Okay, so the first thing is focused on SMR for the chest, okay, ladies? So I know what's in this area, so be careful, right? I'm gonna give you some landmarks to work with to make sure that you don't hurt yourself, and I'm gonna show you some various ways to do this so that you're not completely uncomfortable while you're doing this. So SMR, we talked about putting pressure on the muscle to get it to relax. We know it's a couple minute endeavor, okay? You're not moving around with this one, okay? This is all just setting the ball in place, okay? Setting it in place. I'm trying to do as much of this without equipment, but everybody should be able to find a ball of some kind. Remember, I said tennis balls work too, not as intense, but they will work. Tennis, these guys, we got a small area to work with, so we're going to use a small contact point. So the idea is the chest. We've got coming up here from the armpit up under the chest, the pec, and then the other landmark is right here. I've got the collarbone and this area right here. So the chest muscle, what you guys will hear me say all the time, especially ladies, is that when we're working the chest, we're focused on what's right here across the armpits. Okay, so this is my chest muscle. This is what I'm focused on. So if I go into my armpit, I know it's gross, up underneath, I've got that muscle right there. Okay, and then if I come right here to my collarbone, like so. So everywhere my hand is what I'm focused on today. See that? My thumb's right here in the armpit, fingers right here. This, everywhere my hand is, that's the chest muscle that I'm thinking about today. Okay, so first I've got this ball, and the idea is that I'm going to take it up under the side of that pec, like so, and I'm going to lay on my side, and that's pretty much it. I'm just going to lay here, head down, 2 minutes. Like we said, there's probably about that much space to work with, okay, and the contact point is about that big. So I got 3 or 4 positions I can move this guy around, but it's not gonna be much, okay? It's not gonna be much movement. And no, this is probably the most boring one because it's 2 minutes sitting. Now remember, it's 2 minutes for the whole area. So if I move it, if I put it in 3 or 4 different spots, that's 15 to 20 seconds each, right? But I'm going to tell you, the more you do this, the longer you do it. Okay, actually no, 2 minutes divided by 3, that's going to be 40 seconds. Okay, I don't know. Somebody do the math. So about 2 minutes in this pec area, coming right off the armpit. So this one, I've got my arm up, okay? I'm gonna adjust this camera a little bit. I've got my arm up, I'm up underneath this armpit, like so, okay? So I'm not on the front of my chest, I'm not on the front, I'm on this side right in here. And I have to do both sides, obviously. So when I go for the front, okay? Again, I've got collarbone right here, collarbone here, coming down from there is my chest, okay? Some of y'all could just press your fingers into this muscle right here and already feel the tension, right? It's one of those itches you didn't know you had until you start scratching, okay? And so again, I'm gonna take this ball. This time my arm's gonna go down, okay? And right here, and my head's gonna come to the ground to put that pressure in. Maybe to my hand. I'm letting my shoulder drop to the floor to add the pressure. Okay, so for some of y'all, maybe this is uncomfortable, right? So another approach is to take the pillow, take a pillow, okay? It is not gonna be as intense because the pillow's soft, right? But you're still gonna get the contact point in there, and if you're doing this for the very first time, it's still gonna have an effect, all right? So same concept, I'm just gonna put that thing right there where I want it, arm down, and now I've got the pillow. A little bit more comfy, just a little more comfortable for the rest of the upper body. Okay, so that's that option. Now, that was with the ball. That's the easiest for, oh, I almost forgot, the bicep. So when we think about this, all this in here, we've also got this bicep. So don't overlook that your bicep gets tight, okay? You want it tight most of the time, but if it's not releasing properly, it puts more stress on the chest, on the shoulder, they get even tighter. So the idea is, I've got the bicep right here, and I've got the bottom part of the bicep, and I want to get right here in the center of this guy to get it to really relax, right? So I can take this ball right in here, and again, I'm going to lay myself all the way down. Now, it's not going to be super intense because the weight of your arm's not super heavy, so, but it's enough, trust me. Not moving again, not moving my body, but I can readjust this ball to different spots and just relax. Once again, if it's not comfortable for you here on the floor, then you can grab the pillow, bring it in. Now, the ball's the easiest approach to those. If all you got is the roller, remember when we were doing the hamstrings, we talked about the edge, using this edge right here. So in order to get this to work for the pec under the armpit, I've actually got to put it out in front of me, like so, and then bring it to that same spot with my arm overhead, and then lay down on it. Okay. Not as comfy. It actually is a little bit more intense because I'm raised up off the ground. Okay. And again, my pec muscle is all on top of this guy because the edge is right at the side of it, putting that pressure on. Remember, I mentioned this particular roller is a little bit softer than I like, so it's a little bit harder to handle. Okay, so this is the pec coming from under the armpit, all right? Now, if I'm going for right here under the collarbone, same thing I did earlier. I'm gonna put it right there in that spot. The edge is right there in that chest. And then I'm gonna hold it with the opposite arm and let this other arm come to the side. Again, not as comfy as the ball, but more intense because I'm raised off the floor. Okay, with the bicep, the roller is going to be above my arm, and I'm going to put the edge right there in that same spot that I did the ball. Use this opposite hand to hold it down in my case because of this roller, and then I'm going to try to relax. Okay, so again, some of this equipment, some of these positions, because you're limited to what you got, right? You're doing some of this stuff for the very first time. So even if you don't feel it, like it's not really intense, you know, it's nice, but it's not super intense, it's still gonna have a good effect because you are for the first time addressing these muscles and trying to get them to function differently. So that was your SMR. So when we go to stretching, this is something I go to with a lot of my folks that talk about their upper back needing to relax, and we'll get to that another day. Typically, I have a longer roller to do this with. This is called Roller Angels. This happens to also be great about opening up the pecs and opening up the shoulders and the biceps, okay? So the idea with a longer, what I prefer to have is a longer roller where I can put my tailbone here and I can put my head here, okay? Now, this is how I particularly do it because I like the bend on my lower back. But if you've never done it this way before, then wait until you have a longer roller. But the idea is I'm going to put my head on the roller like so. My arms are opened up. I'm relaxed from lower body down. And I'm going to do some snow angels, and I can go as high as I can keep my hands on the ground. So if I get to this point, my hands come up because my shoulders are too tight, then I stop. Okay, I stop where my hands start coming off the ground. Preferably the wrists of the fingers are all on the ground as I'm moving through this. And even my left wrist is coming off the ground a little bit because I'm tight over these past few days. But I'm just moving through this, just snow angeling it up. And as I move, this muscle is it's opened up just laying here, shoulder, pec, bicep. But as I move it, it challenges it. It keeps it behind me with that stretch, and I'm moving through that. Okay. So this is like a 5 minute endeavor here, okay? We're trying to really let this relax through the movement. About 5 minutes. And you're gonna feel like I said, this is what I go through for my folks that have kind of tight rhomboids, tight traps, and this presses the roller into those. So you're going to feel that as you're doing this. But we'll go more in depth on that another time. Okay, so that was your roller angel. From a stretching perspective again, shoulders and pecs. You can do this sitting, you can do this standing, but the idea is I'm going to take my fingers and lace them behind me, and I'm going to pull them down, and that's naturally going to open up my chest and my shoulders. And then if I can just let my head go back as I do that, and every time I take an inhale, my chest is going to open up a little bit bigger. And then when I exhale, my shoulders pull down to the floor. So we're looking at about a 90-second to 2-minute effort there. That big inhale, opening the chest. And then as you exhale, the shoulders relax to the floor. Bicep forearm, okay? So many of y'all seen my stretches for the forearms. You got the palm down, pull it away. You got the palm up, pull it back. Now, specifically for the forearm into the bicep here, okay, remember, don't ignore how much the bicep tightness can impact your shoulder and your pecs, okay? So I've got my hand open like so. My hand open like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these 2 or 3 fingers right here with my other hand, and I'm going to push that thumb away from me like so. And that's going to make that stretch go from the tip of my thumb all the way up the outside of my forearm into my bicep, okay? Right where that brachii attach. 90 seconds, 60, 90 seconds. Right? And then of course you got 2 sides. Same thing. Palm up. I'm gonna grab these 2 or 3 fingers, push that elbow away, that thumb away like so. And there's that stretch. Okay. Now the big one. This is the one that everybody sees, everybody wants to do, but you got to be very careful with this, guys. Now I'm gonna talk you through a bunch of different positions and progressions for this. This may not be for you at all right now, so I need you to pay very close attention to how your shoulder feels as you're doing this stretch, because I do not want you to make things worse. Okay, this is supposed to be helping you do everything else that we're doing, and it's going to help you. You don't have to do this, but if you're at a point where you need this, you're progressing to a point where you need something more than what you've seen so far. Here it goes. Okay, so we've got the shoulder opener. It's a yoga pose. Okay, now I've got this arm directly out to the side. So arm directly out to the side means my hand is directly out my shoulder. Okay, this is level with my head. This is my rib cage. Okay, it's not what I want. I want you to be hand is directly out the shoulder. Okay, so I've got this one out here like so. This hand is going to be my support. Okay, don't release this hand until you're most comfortable. I'm going to push myself up. My first goal is to get my feet to stack. First goal, feet stack. Okay, if I can stack my feet, you're going to feel the pressure on your shoulder right there. If that's all you need, lots of support on this arm, no big deal. The next goal is to try to get my hips to stack. Okay, my hips are stacked right on top of each other. More tension on that shoulder I'm stretching. Okay, still a lot of support on this arm. My next one is to stack my shoulders. Okay, shoulders are stacked. A lot more pressure on this shoulder. Lots of pressure on this arm. Now, if I'm ready, if I still need some more, my feet, this top foot is actually going to come to the back. My hips are going to start to open up a little bit. Now, if this is enough, stay here. Next progression would be this hand comes behind my back and just drapes behind me. It's just draping right behind my back. This is a point where you start having your head just kind of, once you find the spot you're going to stay, that head's just going to come to the ground. Still got one more. If you need this, okay, this hand is long as I bring it to this other hand, like so, and I'm letting my hips relax, just letting my body fall, and that head is coming down again because it's the point I'm going to stop. And breathe. Now, very important, when I'm done with this, okay, when I'm done with this, I'm putting a lot, it's relative how much stress I'm putting on the shoulder. Maybe super intense for you, even in the first position, okay? So when I'm coming out of this, I want to be careful, okay, even if I'm at this most intense position, okay? So I'm going to reverse exactly how I got into this. The hand, support, because I want to control how the rest of this body comes over, okay? My hips are going to come back. My feet are going to come back. Feet, hips, hand. And then I'm going to sit here just for a second, maybe 10 seconds. Okay, I don't want to jump up right away. There's a lot. As much as I stretched, I cut blood flow off to this arm. I want to let that just kind of flow back in, give it a chance. And we got two sides. Hand on the shoulder. This hand directly out to the side, just like before. See how this looks. Gonna bring it up. Stack my feet, stack my hips, stack my shoulders. If I want some more, the feet are gonna come open up. Over this way. Feet are gonna open up. Now this shoulder is a little bit tighter. I'm not sure about bringing it together in the back. See, on this side, I can't quite get it the same. And that's okay. This side's a little bit tighter. I can't go for that bind. Okay, coming out of it, remember, get that support. Bring the feet together, feet, hips, shoulder, relax a little bit, okay? This is my injured shoulder, so it tends to get tighter faster than the other side. So, you saw me, I can bind on one side, I can't bind on the other. You need to understand both sides are gonna be different. Doing the SMR, doing the stretching, they're gonna feel different while you're doing it. And we do these things to help them stay as similar as possible. You're never gonna be the same on both sides. Okay, so that was all a bunch of stretching and SMR, so a longer video today, like I said. So to finish it off, we're gonna do some activating. So as much as we wanna loosen all this up so that it moves like we want it to, we need the back, our back to be pulling back so that it holds everything in place. And so I've got two exercises for you to do, all body weight. One is called shoulder packing, okay? And on the shoulder packing, basically, what I showed at the beginning of the video is when everybody, if you relax, you've got a little bit of the shoulder coming forward. So what I want you to do is I want you to focus on shoulders come back and they tuck down real tight, and you're gonna hold this for 8 seconds, an 8 count. And then let that go and relax. Bring it back again, tuck it, 8 seconds. Relax, bring it back again, tuck it down tight. Now, this is boring, I'm telling you right now, it's boring. 8 seconds at a time, right? And the prescription I got here is you're gonna do 3 rounds of 12 reps. So you're gonna do 3 rounds of 12, you can do 36 straight if you want, or take a break, go get a drink of water. But that's gonna help. It's gonna help your body, one, learn how to keep those shoulders back and tucked, and two, it's gonna strengthen the back of that shoulder, okay, to help keep everything pulled back. Next thing is gonna be some floor flies. So We're actually gonna lay on the floor and do some flies, okay? So the positioning on this, when you're laying down, your hands are kind of down by your side, not out to the side, because I want the shoulder blades to be tucked. So down at about like an upside down Y, okay? And then we're gonna lift our hands off the ground, and as you do that, I want the elbows to come together, and then you're gonna come back to start. So long arms here, down, elbows come together like a rotisserie chicken, and back down. So, and that's gonna be a 1-2-1 tempo. That means I'm gonna have you hold it in this position right here, and I'm gonna come 1-1000, 2-1000, then relax. 1-1000, 2-1000, and relax. 24 reps of this. I know, boring, oh my gosh. Still, this is gonna help, I promise you. Okay, that is it. That is it for today. Remember, we did some stretching and SMR on the shoulder, the pec, the chest, right? The SMR, we're looking at 2 minutes per area, okay? You may move it around within that area, but it's 2 minutes total, at least each area. The stretches are 60, 90 seconds at the most right now. And then we've got the exercises, shoulder packing, 3 times 12 reps, 1, 8, and 1 tempo, 8-second hold. And then we got the floor flies, 24 reps, 2 rounds with a 2-second hold. The last thing I want to say is I specifically did not show you how to do SMR on the shoulder itself. I did not show you that. I do not want you attempting that. Okay, there's too many things that can go wrong. If you feel like you need to do some pressure on your shoulder, I want you to get with a professional, okay, that's actually gonna do it for you, because I don't want to try to show you how to do this on a video and you hurt yourself. It's just too dangerous. So as we're doing these things, remember I talked about the chest, I talked about the bicep. I don't want you anywhere on this shoulder with this ball or the roller, okay? Again, you guys, thanks for the feedback that some of y'all have been giving me. I love to hear the feedback. I love to hear that it's useful. If you got questions, ask me. And then again, if you got special requests, send those my way. See you.